So this movie, Slingshot, has a metaphor. Yes, they're talking about slingshotting around Jupiter, but I won't lie. The last 15 minutes will slingshot the living poop out of you. Chase Liaki here with the Blue Futon reviewing Slingshot. So what's about? Pretty simple premise. You have Casey Affleck, you have Laurence Fishburne, and you have Frenchie from The Boys, which I wish I remembered his name. Very disrespectful of me. But I heard he's not going to be back for season 5, and I think that's a good thing for him because The Boys is... Anyway, so they're in space. They've been in space for a long time, and their mission is to slingshot around Jupiter to go to Saturn and keep going and going because, climate change on the Earth, which, I feel like they could have found a little bit better reason to go. But anyway, when they come back from... This is an interesting premise because I did like it where they do their work and they go back to sleep. They do their work, they go back to sleep. So the hibernation drugs are, messing with their brains. What is real? What is not? What's going on? What is freaking going on in this movie? So did I like this film? Yes and no. This is one where I slept on this movie, and I still don't know what I think about it because it felt a little bit like Spaceman with Adam Sandler with being weird, going back and forth, because it is the same thing where, in Spaceman you have Carey Mulligan and you have Adam Sandler, and they'll talk about him in space, and they would go back to him and her back on Earth. And this is kind of the same thing with Casey Affleck, and then, in a relationship back at Earth. So it's almost the same style of filmmaking, and I almost want to say it's produced by a country that's almost similar, where it's that, but there is that as well. So that is interesting, the similarities between Spaceman. I was really getting that with Slingshot. I do think the acting of all three of them involved, if you want to include fourth, the female, did a great job of the believability of maybe being in space and what is occurring. So I like the look of the spaceship. I like the look of the antics of what is going on, the tension, the claustrophobia, the way it looks, the score. And for a low-budget film, it's a good damn looking film. Yes, it's probably mostly a soundstage movie because that's what it only needed to be, but it was believable. The whole movie was believable when they're actually in the spaceship, and of course when they're on Earth in the Lectonars at her apartment. I truly, truly believed it. So I think the big thing about this movie is the writing, and if you're going to like what they did at the ending or not. And that is truly up to the viewer. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but listen. It's like a wham bam, thank you ma'am, punch you in the face 3 times of twists and turns at the end. Because I do not want to spoil this movie, but it's one of those things where it's like, you go into a movie, right? And you know how you want the movie to end. But then you think when it does end, you're like, okay, I understand that. But then it makes you more upset because they throw so much at you in the last 10 minutes that you try to think back of the last hour and 40 minutes because it's about an hour and 50-minute movie. And I think that's my biggest fault with this movie is, okay, so they show the ending and you're like, okay, because they could have done the ambiguous ending where it's like, oh, what if, but they don't do it in this one. So I got to give credits to that because if it was a what if ending, I would have been really pissed off. So you know what happens at the end. So you go, okay, that's the ending. Even though it was like a Lord of the Rings ending. It was like, oh, is this ending? Is this the ending? Is this the ending? Is this the ending? But okay. Like I said, the biggest issue is throwing so much at you in the last 10, 15 minutes that you're looking back at the last, or the hour 30, hour 40 minutes that you were watching. And then you're trying to, put the pieces together. Like, okay, if that's the ending, then you're thinking about, okay, is this what happened? Or is this what happened? Okay, let me think about this scene to this scene, this scene to this scene. Because there's like some things that happen in the spacecraft and some of the dialogue where it's like, are you sure about this, about the actual spacecraft and what it can hold? And you go, okay, I understand that. However, there is one room with computers that kind of contradicts with what one of the other people are saying in the storyline. I do think I know what is happening in this movie, but I mean, But then, then the things out on Earth where something happens to someone, or why this person met with someone, and you're thinking, okay, was it a true thing true connection, or was it fake? So you're probably thinking, Chase, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm sorry, this is one of the movies where I don't know if a lot of people are going to see, but I feel like it would be a disservice to actually spoil this movie the first weekend. And I think that, and people are like, oh, just do a spoiler review. I'm sorry, I watch a shit ton of movies, and yes, I could do a spoiler review, but it's one of the ones where it's like, will it actually get clicks? Like, oh, spoiler for Deadpool and Wolverine. Of course that's going to get clicks, but Slingshot, a movie that's maybe going to get 1.5 million for the weekend, is that worth it? Because Bleecker Street, none of their movies really do good in the box office. So overall, Slingshot, it's a great looking film. It has some good tense moments. It goes back and forth from Earth to Jupiter. And I do think there is some pacing issues in the hour and 30-minute film, or in the hour 30-minute, the beginning. But when it's that gut punch, wham bam, thank you, man, of the slingshot at the very end, you like it, but then you're like, did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? So Slingshot will receive a 3 out of 5 Futons, which equals at 60%. So see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have critics a 49% with 37 of them. No critic consensus. So, yeah, not bad, not bad. So 49-60. Like I said, this is one of the films that it can go up and down on my rating on the day of the week. And that could be a good thing or bad thing. Anyway, 49-60. Chase Scott here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Bluetontopia. You Blue Futon, take watch a great day. Looking forward to stay tomorrow week. I'm on here for one of you. And yes, a lot of movies. I felt like this last weekend of August, they just pump and dump.